Hello and welcome to this episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. My name is Julie and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. Today's card uses some retired products, but as is common, you can go ahead and change out the papers or the stamp set just using the layout if you decide to do that. But let me tell you what I used in case you have some of this from the last year or two. They are Christmas items. I'm using the Peaceful Deer stamp set, which when it was available, it came or was available as a bundle with a matching deer punch. Very cute. And also the paper that coordinates with this is called Peaceful Prints. So our card goes together quite quickly. I'm going to tell you a couple of my favorite things about this as we go. So let's talk about our parts. First of all, I'm starting with a card base that is basic white cardstock. This is the thick cardstock, 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, scored down the center at 4.25. Then I have a piece of that Peaceful Prints paper. This piece measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches, and this is going to go on the front like this, like a panel. But we do want to do these steps definitely in order and not attach this piece quite yet. Then I have 3 other pieces also from Peaceful Prints that coordinate, look nice together. And the only thing to consider when you're choosing your 3 prints is that one of them ought to be kind of light or subtle because we're actually going to stamp on this piece. So that's one of the things that is my favorite about this design is we're going to be stamping on the designer series paper itself. So these pieces are 3.5 inches by 1.5. So these are going to get glued onto the front of the card. And so I'm just going to do a dry fit first to get an idea. All right, so that's the layout that I'm going to go with. This is the piece that's going to get stamped on, so I'm going to do that first before attaching it. That way, if it, doesn't go quite right and you need to do something over again, you have the opportunity to do that instead of having this glued to the front of your card already. So all of the stamps that I'm using on this card are from that Peaceful Deer stamp set. And I'm just using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad. So it's not often that I actually stamp on the designer series paper. So I think that makes this kind of unique and extra special. All right, so now we can go ahead and attach these pieces to that front. That is the second thing that I like about this, is we're attaching designer series paper to another piece of DSP. So this is actually creating our background for these 3 strips. All right, so just using some liquid glue. And actually what I recommend, I did not do it this time, I recommend putting the middle one on first. That way, I'm going to go ahead and dry fit it again. That way you kind of have an idea of placement when you do the top and the bottom if the middle one is already in the center. So I would recommend that. All right, here's the middle piece that we've stamped on. So I'm just looking at right and left and kind of this little space there too, and I will want to bring this down a little bit so that it's pretty even, like so. Okay, that second one is in place, and then we'll do the third one. Now when it comes to ribbon for this particular card, I also grabbed a ribbon that has retired. And it is a cherry cobbler ribbon with that cute little X print on it. So that's the ribbon we'll be using. In this particular packet of paper, there was real red represented and also cherry cobbler. So this is going to look good with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take a length of this ribbon. You can see it's almost out. And I want it to go from the top of the card down the bottom, kind of like this, almost resembling like we're wrapping a package, but not entirely. And the reason that I wanted to point out that we didn't want to glue this piece on yet is because we're going to tack it to the back of that piece. So let's do that step next. All right, so using some tear and tape, this is the easiest way that I have found to do this. Laying this right where we want it, wrapping that top edge onto the back, and I'm just going to flip this over and secure it with one of those pieces of tear and tape. Now that is holding the ribbon in place. This will also serve to attach it to the card front when we get to that point. All right, now bringing the ribbon down the front, nice and straight, wrap it around this side and secure that one in place. Okay, now we're ready to attach this to the card front like so. So at this point you can either add more tear and tape or add liquid glue, whichever you prefer. But I am going to peel the backings off of these so that I get the benefit of that extra adhesive as well. All right, this piece goes on the front. And then we've already done our stamping. We've already added our ribbon. We're going to add one extra little element to the card, and this is where you can be really creative depending on what you're doing. A card that I was casing did a similar layout and did a poinsettia right here. I didn't think that a flower went well with these particular papers, so I'm just going to make a bow out of the same ribbon and attach a bow. And then at the end of this video, I will show you a second card that I made with this design, and I did a different embellishment right here. All right, so still using that cherry cobbler ribbon, making a bow. It's cute on the back too. It looks like dash lines. So you've got your X's and your little dashes. Okay, this is going to go on right here. It gives the illusion that I wrapped the ribbon around and then tied the bow, but as you saw, it was done in two different steps, which actually, when it comes down to it, is a lot easier to do it this way. All right, so a glue dot or two to hold that bow on there. I think I'll use two because it's not real thick, but it won't hurt to add an extra, just to make sure it's secure. Okay, and I'm going to place it right here, a little bit at an angle, like so. Now the inside doesn't need a panel because we're working with white cardstock, so that's just fine, but we could add some stamps on the inside. So since we have Sending Love and Peace this season on the front, I was thinking about using Merry Christmas on the inside. And then also this sweet little bunny, because this is kind of a peace theme, peaceful and nature, I think that the bunny or the deer, because we didn't use the deer on the front. Here's the deer. No, I'm going to use the deer inside this card. And then the one that I made earlier that I'm going to show you has the bunny on the inside. Let's do it that way. All right, so there's the Merry Christmas, still from the same stamp set. And now our sweet little deer that's resting we'll just add that here at the bottom corner of the card. Super sweet. All right, we only needed one ink pad, just our black ink pad today, so that also makes for an easy and quick card. And these other items, as I said, are retired, but you can dig through your stash, see if you maybe have these same things, or change it up a little bit with items that you have. And here is our card for today. Let me show you the other version, which is similar. Same color scheme, same papers. What I did on this one, you can see I used the black and red check or buffalo plaid as the background on this one. Then I made a little medallion and added my deer right there. On the inside, because it's a black card base, I did add a layer of cherry cobbler, 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I added my white panel on top of that, 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And there's our cute little bunny. So there you have a very sweet card, super fast, and again, you're getting to showcase multiple coordinating pieces of the designer series paper that you choose. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate that you tune in and watch this series. As always, I will put the host code and some helpful information in the description box below this video. And until next time, happy stamping!